You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are watching and listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Well, are you going to apply for your vaccine passport? How do you get one anyway? And from what I've heard, there are people out there who are actually forging these things up by the score. There's doctors who are, unlike the way it used to work with doctors, where you would pay them to do things and give you prescriptions they weren't supposed to. Now you're paying them to not do things they are supposed to do. Crazy, crazy world. Are you going to get your vaccine passport? Why don't you tell us? Let us know. My personal email address, kl@kerrylutz.com. That's kl@kerrylutz.com. Well, with us now, our good friend from trendsresearch.com is our good friend, Gerald Celente. Gerald, hey, have you applied for your vaccine passport yet?
Oh yeah. And I'm taking a shot up the, no way am I getting, what did they call this thing when they first pushed it out? Operation Warped Speed, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be warped to me to get this thing. It's not approved by the FDA. They have not approved. It's an emergency vaccination. And as we say in the Trends Journal, one of our covers was, we had two vaccines going into the earth with a bad smile. And one vaccine, one said, vaccine, the other said money. And on the bottom, we had drug dealers and money junkies. They're injecting monetary methadone into the system to artificially prop it up. And the drug dealers are in charge. Take the word big pharma and shove it. Call them what they are. They're drug dealers. Got it? And drug dealers will do anything to sell anything, anywhere, any place, anytime, anyway. And that's what they're doing. And it's a revolving door. It's not a revolving door. Government is the major corporations, the banksters, all of the bandits that are running the show. Morons and imbeciles and little jerks call it campaign contributions. Adults call it bribes and payoffs. They're in total charge. The FDA, you look at their revolving door. Look at that guy. What's his name? Gottlieb, the former FDA director. How about go screw yourself? This guy was shooting his fat mouth off a year ago. You got to be 6 feet apart. You got to be 6 feet apart. Oh, we just changed it. Now you got to be 3 feet apart. Hey, go screw yourself. You're making this crap up. They're making this crap up. You know why? Because they're crap heads. These are the same sick people that had us hiding under desks in case an atom bomb went off.
Duck and cover, right? This is the latest iteration of duck and cover, right, Gerald?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I remember that. And
they scared the shit out of you. They scared the hell out of you. You're a little kid. What do you know? Get under your desk and you put your head on you like you're on your head. Oh, like if an atom bomb goes off, what the hell difference would it make if I'm under my desk? Don't you give me your back talk. I'm an expert. You're not allowed to challenge the expert. When I use words like the F word, that's profanity. You know what profanity is? Calling these people health experts. You know what profanity is? Calling some piece of crap a dignitary. You know what some crap is? The royal family. You know what some crap is? Mr. President, Mr. Governor, honorable. Hey, go screw yourself. You're not better than I am. And you use the word going to a doctor. Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor. Oh, how about people don't call me, oh, yes, Mr. Trends. Hey, you're in the business. Take it easy. You're good at what you do. Save your label and shove it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Hey, Gerald, the amount of garbage that people are willing to take, though, is really kind of shocking, isn't it? That they aren't up in arms yet. I mean, the whole mask thing, I'm sick of these masks. I see it in Florida here, less and less people wearing them. more and more people going out. Like there are clubs and places that I go to, they're almost back to, I hesitate to use the word normal, but here, Texas and other states, they just said, no more of this garbage. And you can see the governor's just waiting for the drop in hospitalizations to just get rid of the mask mandate altogether. As it is, I'm walking down the street by Miami and I'm on the street not wearing a mask, and some code enforcer comes up to me and put your mask on. And honestly, I was a little taken aback by it because I hadn't encountered it. But they're not allowed to fine you. They're not allowed to arrest you. They can't fine businesses. I should have just said, or what? What are you going to do about it? But in some places, they can lock you up for this stuff.
Yep. Heil Hitler. Oh, by the way, I mean, think about it. This is how demented it all is. You can't make this stuff up. Who were the first country to issue a green passport?
Who was it? I don't know.
Israel.
Israel, right? Yes, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And who is running Israel? Ashkenazis.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
The Eastern European, all of them, all Ashkenazi. And now you heard Netanyahu coming out saying that the vaccine may be having to get it every year. And you cannot go out without your green passport. Yeah. That shows you, I mean, how can this happen? Israel is supposed to be the place where the people went to gain the freedom of who they wanted to be. And now, I'm reading in the Jerusalem Post, there are protesters coming out and they're putting the yellow star on the Nazis when you had to put that you were a Jew. And now you have to wear your passport.
Yeah. Hey, well, maybe we can make up some special trends research masks with a yellow star on the front. You think people might take offense?
Right. Isn't that, I mean, think about it. That's how sick it's become. The place where the people went for freedom are now the first to be passported. You have to have your passport. So, I'm holding a rally on Memorial Day up here. You're going to try to shut me down? You know what I'm telling them? Little Landy Cuomo, you come and try to shut me down man to man. No, leave your little boys behind. I'm calling you out. You're not going to stop me from having a Memorial Day celebration, a rally for freedom, peace, and justice. And I'm going to have one on the 4th of July. I'm going to have them, and I'm going to have them. And I'm fighting for my freedom. I'm not just talking about it. I'm doing it.
Hey, whatever happened to mostly peaceful protests? Your protest is going to be 100% peaceful. That's no good. But if it's mostly peaceful, that's better. And that's what they want.
Yeah, because then they bring some agents provocateurs in to disrupt things so they could take your mind off totally what the demonstration was about. It's going on in Germany, by the way. In Stuttgart last week, there were about 20,000 people out protesting. And you know what the news was? They beat up a reporter. One guy beat up a reporter. So forget the rally that happened. We won't forget. We'll protest the lockdown. The same thing happened. There was a thing called the Battle of Seattle. Do you remember the Battle of Seattle?
Vaguely, yeah.
Vaguely, you see?
Yeah.
The Battle of Seattle was 1999. Over 40,000 people took to the streets in Seattle. They were having a World Trade Organization meeting in Seattle.
Right.
WTO. Right. And people were against bringing China into the World Trade Organization because they realized we'd lose all these jobs. We've only lost 3.5 million so far in manufacturing jobs. And we buy all their stuff. And you look at the latest trade deficit, it's another ballooning trade deficit. And the exports are down. So the people protest, and they had these agents provocateurs, these guys all dressed up in black and perfect shape, smashing windows and burning a car. And that was all the news. The Battle of Seattle was forgotten. And they're going to try to do the same thing with us on Memorial Day. And I just want to make this clear. I used to teach close combat. I had my own school. And I learned from the best of the best. Bradley Steiner, may he rest in peace. We still have articles we put in the Trends Journal that he writes. I'm going to have security around here. If anybody tries to screw with us in any way, they're going to be in trouble. So I'm going to have a real security team. I had Judge Napolitano up here when I had the last one on 4th of July from Fox News. And he said to me, everything I've ever done, I've never seen better security than yours. So I'm just putting that word out there for those agents provocateurs. You try some crap, you're going to be in trouble.
And that's the way it should be, because your aims are totally peaceful, but to build awareness. But, we got this corrupt media. It's really hard to get the word out and to get people to become aware of all this. There's only so much you can do on that count.
Well, that's why you're here and I'm there. That's why people have to support what you're doing and support what we're doing. Because it's not censorship, it's sinsorship, S-I-N. This is a sin against humanity. And again, this is the bull crap that they're putting out there. You're not allowed to say anything bad about the vaccination, right?
Right.
Okay, but how about this? Over there in Europe, they're saying that the AstraZeneca vaccine is causing blood clots. It's okay for somebody to say that when they're saying it, but it's a health expert. By the way, the first book I worked on was called Natural Healing. It was a Warner book. I didn't write it. I worked on it. This is 1984. Came out in 86. People weren't talking about this. I have an honorary doctorate to the National University of Health Sciences. I don't believe the crap that they're selling me, Big Pharma. Look at the ads we have on TV. That's why they're all promoting it. Look at the billions of dollars that the drug dealers put on to put these stupid ads on TV. Oh, you're not feeling well? You can't get it up. Oh, take this. And then they have 30 seconds of how this thing's going to screw you up the rest of your life.
Yeah. The warnings are like more interesting than the commercial. I mean, they go on, they detail diseases and ailments that you never even imagined existed, brought on by these things. One thing I find amazing is food. The one thing that is killing us more than anything is sugar of all descriptions. All right. It's been poison. They've known it since the 1850s that sugar is poison to the human body. And yet everything you buy in the supermarket, everything packaged, processed, is dripping in sugar. I mean, people would live 20 years longer if they didn't eat this stuff, Hey,
listen, you get your vaccine, you show me the passport, and you can get a Krispy Kreme donut. All right?
Yeah, get a free
anything. Look, all right, here's who's dying from the virus. These are the facts.
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, according to Lancet, 80% of the people that died are from nursing homes. Now, you well know that once you get out of a nursing home, then you go to day camp and everything is fine. You're not on your way out. Number two, type 2 diabetics and obesity, of which we're number one. We're number one, and the UK is right behind us. 94% of the people that died had 2.6 pre-existing comorbidities, such as respiratory ailments, type 2 diabetes,
high blood pressure,
obesity, exactly, all from that.
Yeah. So
that's who's dying. The young people aren't dying from this. The recovery rate of people 1 to 20 years old is 99.997%, according to the CDC. Depending on whose numbers you look at, the recovery rate for everybody is either 98.7 or 99.6, depending on whose numbers you look at. These are no numbers. And you're talking about what's killing us, sugar? Hey, you're down in Florida, huh? How about that place, that big place where they put all that radioactive waste that's coming out, flooding out the area? Oh, don't worry about that. That'll be fine. All the chemicals they pump in the air, in the water, in the earth. Oh, you like those pesticides? They're great for you. Pesticides, yeah, chemicals that they put all over in your food. Don't worry about that at all. You got the COVID coming. You got the COVID. Oh, the air pollution. Only 8.7 million people died last year of air pollution. That's all, only 8, and that's every year. And then you have all the other diseases that you're getting from it. Oh, and why they wear those freaky masks in China? Oh, only 1.5 million people die a year from air pollution in China because the air's so filthy. Yeah. But we won't talk about any of that. Oh, you like those GMOs, huh? The GMOs are great for you. Oh, all the artificial flavors, all the preservatives in your food. Don't worry about it. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. That stuff is great for you. Oh, do you see the level? Do you see the study that came out? We wrote about in the Trends Journal, how the sperm counts are going down to nothing.
Yeah, I did see that. In fact, what's that all about, huh?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Arcana Corporation is on the verge of bringing the world's highest grade silver mine into production. The Revenue Virginius mine in Colorado has proven improbable silver reserves grading nearly 37 ounces per ton silver, with an all-in sustaining production cost of only US $8 per ounce of silver. The mine is fully permitted with infrastructure already in place, and the company has announced they plan to commence production in 2020. Achieving successful production usually results in a significant upward share price re-rating on the Lassonde curve. Arcana trades under the ticker AUN in Toronto and AUNFF in New York. To learn more, go to arcana.com. That's AURCANA.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network, the information you need to thrive now more than ever.
Again, all the crap that they're killing us with. And the penises are shrinking. I'm not making this up from the study. And that's what we got. A bunch of little penises telling us what to do.
Yeah.
Look at them.
And
Look
I'm
at them.
not a very good job at it either, Gerald, you know?
Like Boris Johnson, Merkel, Cuomo, Gavin Newsom, Witless Whitmer, one little freak after another telling you what to do. And the people are taking crap from these people.
Mm-hmm. They certainly are. And no one seems to care about it, though. That's what shocks me. I mean, I'd love to be part of a revolution, but, it goes back to the Beatles, say you want a revolution, but nobody seems interested. I guess it's like that guy Klaus Schwab said, we're going to take everything from you and you're going to be happy about it.
Yep. I'm fighting. And here's my belief. You're down in Florida. Texas is open. The infection rates are going way down in Texas. They just had a Texas Rangers game. Nobody was wearing masks. I believe at least 30% of the people are against this.
Oh, yeah. More than that, I think, honestly.
Okay. I would say, I was going on the low. I'd say between 30 to 39% are against this. So now let's say 60% are for it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Who are those 60%? Are they fighters? They're liberals. They're libtards. Mm-hmm. They're not fighters. They're followers. Yeah. It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men, said Samuel Adams. And I believe the time is now more than any time.
All right. So your rally on Memorial Day, that's going to be in Kingston, New York.
Yep. I have I'm on the most historic four corners in America. I have a 1763, 1750, and a 1774 building. And I bought these because right over there, I can throw a rock and hit it, is where the first Constitution was signed when Kingston was the first capital of New York State. This is the third Dutch settlement.
Right.
John Jay was the judge over here. Mm-hmm. Over 70% of America's Constitution comes from the Constitution that was written here. These are the four corners of freedom. That's why I bought those buildings. And I am American. I believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. I don't need some piece of crap to explain what they're saying. I could figure it out for myself. I write books. I write magazines. I don't need an official to tell me what the Bill of Rights stands for or the Constitution. I don't need a Supreme Court judge to interpret it for me. I am a man born of freedom, a Napolitano, born in the Bronx, born to be free. I am not put on this earth to take orders from these craps. So I'm fighting for freedom. It's going to be on the four corners of freedom, John and Crown Street. And I have a huge garden there, the Crown Garden. And that's where I'm having it.
All right. Hey, and I mentioned to you, my mother was actually born in Kingston, New York, a long time ago in 1922.
Wow.
And, her family was in Beacon, not too far from you. And they got really rich during World War II because they owned the tank farms on the Hudson, those oil tanks there. And they had all the ration stamps. God only knows what they did and how they did it. But my heritage goes way back there, Gerald. And I know what you're talking about. Just to see buildings that were built in the 1700s and they've been repurposed and they're still around in this day and age. That's pretty remarkable. And the architecture, the techniques they used, the brick, the brick that was like hand made in kilns, not too far from there. Really, all these things, the history that so many of you out there have forgotten about, like you say, the four corners of freedom.
Yep.
So
then people want to hear about what's going on in the markets. It's very simple. Here's the way we see it, our forecast. The markets are going to keep going up. There's going to be a Biden bounce. The economy is going to go up, all the cheap money they're throwing in, and it'll keep going until interest rates go up. End of story. When interest rates go up, this thing goes down. And the inflation, they're lying about inflation. You saw how housing prices, I mean, depending on what. Oh, by the way, of all of the United States, according to Bloomberg, the housing prices went up the most in Kingston, 18.1%.
yeah, is that people fleeing from New York City?
That's right.
Let me ask you a question about those newcomers to Kingston. 'Cause it's a beautiful area, and winter is actually pretty there, unlike in most parts of the Northeast. These people who are fleeing, they're really fleeing. They're fleeing riots, threats, out of control crime, their personal safety. Are they fleeing for freedom also? I mean, you talk with these people, right?
They're a whole different crowd. It's like, again, you're a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker. I say to them, where are you from? And they go, we're from New York. In the old days, I would have said, go screw yourself. Who are you talking to? No, it's a whole different crowd. And they're leaving because they're afraid. They're afraid of the virus and they're afraid of crime. And for good reasons with the crime. You go to Midtown, Midtown is mad town. It's homeless everywhere. Hey, you got any money? Hey, man. All right. I mean, real New Yorker, everybody, you're looking around all the time because this thing's out of control. As I say, when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it.
They lose it. Yeah.
And they're losing it big time. The homicide rates are going up all over the country, all over the world. So now here's the deal going back to the markets. Is there a housing bust going to happen with all these people buying homes? And by the way, I mentioned inflation. They don't put I just mentioned right here, they've gone up 18.1%. That housing increase prices do not go in to the inflation index. Mm-hmm. That's how cooked it is. Yeah. They rigged it under the Clinton administration. The reason they don't want to show inflation going up is one, so they could keep the money junkies, cheap money, and keep interest rates low so they could borrow money for nothing and gamble. And number two is that the higher interest rates go, the higher your Social Security benefits go. And they don't want that to happen. John Williams, Shadow Stats.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And he has the real numbers. And you're looking at, double digit, way high inflation. So going back, I don't think there's going to be a real estate crash this time, not yet, because most of the homes being bought are being bought by individuals. The big firms are just getting into the business now buying them. Unlike back when there was the subprime mortgages back in the early 2000s. So they're buying them to get out. Number two, millennials are buying now. They weren't buying before. So this is a real buying. It's not being buying on hype that the markets are going up and I'm going to get rich in it. The markets are going up. Now, let's go to the other side of it. The office occupancy rate in New York City right now is 14%. 14%. Yeah, all the businesses that depend on commuters, gone. Now, you have subleases going on. So now the big firms, JP Morgan Chase, one after.
Goldman's coming to Florida.
Yeah, but they're subleasing now. So that means they're taking a loss on what they have, leasing it out to somebody else, trying to get out. Big law firms, one after another, they don't need all that space because now people are going to be used to not commuting all the time. They'll work at home maybe 25, 30% of the time because anybody that was commuting an hour and a half a day, getting on the LIE or the, Yeah,
the Long Island Railroad and Metro North. I did it myself for a lot of years.
And you hate it after a while.
Hate it.
You hate it. And they hate it. So now they're going to be working less. So now let's look at the commercial real estate in Chicago. Let's look at it in San Francisco. Let's look at it in Boston. Let's look at it in New York City. It's going to go down big time. It was overbuilt before in New York. Retail spaces, ground floor retail in 2019, before this happened, you go down to the West Village, Madison Avenue, Park Avenue, Fifth Avenue, for rent, before this was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I saw it. I was in New York. When was it? Back Thanksgiving. And I was on the Upper East Side, one of the wealthiest areas of the city. And every third or fourth store had a big for rent sign on it. Some of them were like, Gerald, 10, 15,000 square foot stores. Who's going in there? I mean, unless they're going to become homeless processing centers or homeless shelters, I don't see how New York City comes back from this.
It's not, because the people are moving out. This never happened before, where people are moving out of big cities. Look at that piece of crap they built for $25 billion, Hudson Yards.
I know.
You couldn't get an uglier piece of crap to destroy the views and the people that live next to it. They do like Trump Towers did on the West Side. But anyway, all they did, Michelin places are pulling out of there. Abercrombie, one after another, they're pulling out. Neiman Marcus pulled out. Now they got all this empty, ugly space. So going back to where this is going, there's going to be a boom. There's no question about it as we see it, because of the money they're pumping into the system artificially. It's only going to work for so long.
Yeah. Well, that's
going to crash, and we're going to go into the greatest depression.
Yeah, and we know from money printing that in the beginning, when they do it, there's a boom, but then later on, it actually acts to suppress the economy because of the overhang of excessive debt. We know all this is happening, Gerald. Hey, we're going to try to make it for your Memorial Day celebration, and it will be a celebration more so than a protest. And maybe that's what we really need, is celebration of what we've had and what we've lost and what we want back.
That's great. I'm going to call it a celebration.
Yeah. A celebration, but a peaceful protest.
Yep.
a celebratory, peaceful protest. How's that?
Yep. And I'm fighting this thing. I wasn't put on this earth to take orders. I don't give them. I don't take them.
Hey, me neither. My father basically almost got thrown out of the Army Air Corps. If you ever saw Catch 22, you would understand, because they had a policy. Hey, in 10 flights, you get to go home. 10 more hours, you get to go home. And then they would raise the number. Finally, he said, I'm not doing this. I'm not risking my life to ship feminine hygiene products and ketchup and other stuff from India to China. He was flying them on the overland route. He said enough, and he would just basically blow out the plane's engines at the runway, said, your planes aren't airworthy. I'm not doing it. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. Yep.
Come from heritage of being a libertarian, basically, and not believing that I'm here to serve, or you're here to serve the government. Hey, so Trends Journal, how do we get it, and why do we want it?
If you want to know what's going on, what it means, and what's next, you want the Trends Journal. There's no magazine like it. No magazine like it in the world. What was the last one? 156 pages, and it's only the facts and what it means, and people better, and how to prepare, prevail, and prosper. And it's only $2 a week, and it's a weekly. And we're putting every ounce of energy we have into making it what it is. Just go to trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. It's $129 a year. And the more people that support us, the more we can do. Just like with you. And I'm asking everyone to please support you and what you're doing, and make it happen, because they're going to do everything they can to shut us down. And like your father, may his soul rest in peace, being a libertarian, you're not here to serve the government. Who the hell are you, government? A bunch of politicians that never worked a day in their lives.
You got it. That's it. Exactly. And hey, if you got any questions, comments, or you want more info, send an email to my personal email address, kl@kerrylutz.com. I'll forward them off to Gerald for a response. Gerald, always a pleasure. Keep up the fight. Thank you for all you do.
And thank you for all you do. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.